What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing, or at least attempting, a budget fishing challenge. I've never done one of these before, but everyone else seems to have. So we're going to give it a shot ourselves. But instead of setting like a certain price limit, I actually wanted to add a little bit of an extra thing to it, something that not necessarily other people have done. You can catch fish on a budget, and the money for that fishing gear can come from wherever. So on that note, today we're going to be returning a bunch of bottles. Actually, we're going to go to the redemption center and we're going to return a bunch of bottles, and whatever money we get from those bottles is what we're going to use to buy fishing stuff. I won't know until we actually redeem them, but I expect probably like $25, maybe $30. But regardless, whatever we get is what we're going to be fishing with, or at least it's going to be our budget, and we'll do Walmart. So it's going to be a Walmart budget challenge. I'm going to link in the description a bunch of similar videos and channels that do these types of videos, kind of stuff that I've taken inspiration from in doing my own. But we're going to head and do that. Like I said, I don't know what our budget's going to be until we return the bottles, but we're going to go do it. We got the goon with us. I wanted someone to help me choose the stuff when we go to Walmart. And then if you want to take a peek, we got our load here. It's not as much as it probably looks like. A lot of the bags are pretty small bags, but like I say, I'm still hoping to get around maybe 30 bucks, but we'll see. All right, hold on, I'm gonna count it up. We got 10, 15, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So we got 25 here. It was like 24 and change, so I just rounded up to 25. So that's what we're rolling with. We're gonna roll with $25 in Walmart. I'm not gonna film in there just because with everything going on, COVID, I just no need to complicate things, but I'll make sure to show you guys my receipt. And just because I think it's an unfair advantage to states without sales tax, we're not gonna count sales tax here. We have a 5% sales tax in Maine. So yeah, we're gonna do it without tax. But I'll show you guys the receipt when we come out, and I'll show you guys what we got. So we're gonna head and do that now. What are you doing? You just hanging out? You just hanging out? All right, so clearly we are not at Walmart anymore. I just got home. Walmart was pretty hectic. So after we just got out of Walmart, I dropped my cousin off, and I just came home. So I'm gonna show you all the stuff. I took pictures of the price tags just so you guys know I didn't go over budget or anything like that. And just a reminder, our budget was $25. It was, like I said, the bottles were 24 and change, so I just rounded up to 25 to make things easier. So as far as rod goes, we actually picked up, which I actually think is going to be pretty good. We've got our Zebco Slingshot spinning combo. It's a 5.6 medium light. You know what? I think it's going to do the job. And for $9.88, I definitely think it's going to do the job. It comes with line. We'll get to that later. But for $9.88, we got a decent little spinning combo here. So I think that's going to be killer. We got a 1/4 ounce pearl white spinnerbait. Which was, I actually have, if I'm looking down here because I've got the prices written down right here. The spinnerbait was $2.56. So we got that. We have got a KVD 1.0 Squarebill, like a 2 to 4 foot diver, which is definitely the most expensive thing I got. This was $5.96. And like I said at the beginning, I'm doing this without tax because there are some states with no sales tax. There are some states with more sales tax. So just for the sake of keeping this consistent, we're going to just do without sales tax. So this is straight up just the price. Last for lures, we've got these Lucky Strike ribbon tail worms, which I'll probably just Texas rig up. And these were only $1.56 a pack. This Slingshot combo comes with 8-pound test on it, 8-pound mono. But I really tend not to trust, if I can help it, trust the pre-spool line. So I am going to test it just to make sure, and if it is fine, great. If it's not, I did pick up with some of the last couple dollars some Trilene 8-pound mono, extra tough mono. At the end of the day, it's the same pound test, but I just will, if I re-spool it, I'll just trust this a lot more than I would the mono that comes on this comp. How you manage to be conscious. So that is what we've got, and that came out to a total of $23.23. So we're actually below budget. The one thing I do gotta say, I'm going to cheat just a little bit on this. And I took some pictures, but my Walmart was absolutely empty. Just in general, most of the soft plastics were gone. Like, there was not a single Senko in there. I was hoping to get a pack of like Yum Dingers or something. I was lucky enough to find a couple more packs of these ribbon tails, but these were almost gone as well. And I took a picture of the actual tackle section. There was not a single worm hook, EWG hook, anything like that. There was the hooks were absolutely blown out. So the one thing we're gonna cheat on, and that's kind of why I tried to stay under budget, or not even, and I left it a little bit as far as money wise goes to the 25, because the one reason we're gonna cheat is we're gonna just grab some hooks from my personal tackle box to rig up this worm with. That's the only, we are gonna cheat in that regard, just because I want to try to use those worms. But because they had no any sort of worm hook or anything like that, that's the one way we're gonna cheat. They did have like wacky worm hooks or like drop shot hooks. These aren't Senkos. You can't exactly wacky rig a ribbon tail. So I could have done that if they had Senkos, but like I said, they didn't have Senkos. Could go out and fish now. I don't think I'm going to. Tomorrow morning actually looks really nice. Tomorrow's only supposed to be in the mid-70s. It's supposed to be partly cloudy. Tomorrow's gonna be a really good fishing day, so I think we're gonna get up early tomorrow morning and do some kayak fishing with these baits and see if we can get on some fish.
All right, sorry for the weird cut, guys. But for privacy reasons, I try not to record where I get onto this pond. And we just to let you guys know, we are back on the same pond as the last video, the last kayaking video anyway. But I figured this would give us a good opportunity to fish the other side of the pond. So I think we're gonna start off with our crankbait. I figured I'd start with the moving baits first and save the ribbon tails for when the sun comes up. That way we can just kind of flip some docks with it. I gotta say the casting is pretty good. Like for a less than $10 combo, it honestly doesn't feel awful. So this crankbait's like a 2 to 4 foot diver, so we'll try to stay out of the far inside of these coves. One thing I'll say I don't like about the reel, there's no clicking with the drag system. So you kind of just have to guesstimate how you want your drag set. But up off this cove to the left is where we were ice fishing this past year. And I do know for a fact there's a, not a drop off, like a big hump out there where it goes from 30 feet to 6. So I'll want to try to work that for a couple fish. And as much as I dislike mono, this extra tough Trilene has actually got pretty good castability. And this is the first time I've used it, and reeling it in right. Oh, is that a fish? Oh, that's a fish. We're hooked up. Oh no, he broke off. That's all right though. Means they're in here. That was a little largy, I think. At first I thought it was a little trout the way it was surfacing, but I'm fairly sure that was a little bass. Honestly, I was a little hesitant to grab the crankbait in Walmart, even though they were completely picked clean of everything else. I feel like crankbaits are a lot of people's go-to moving bait, but I just haven't had a lot of luck with crankbaits. I've caught maybe 4 or 5 fish in my life with crankbaits. I think for a lot of people, squarebills are pretty popular, but I think for a lot of people they use them kind of deep, those deeper diving crankbaits. And for me, I just do so much bank fishing that doesn't make a whole heck of a lot of sense. Oh, that's a fish. Oh my God, what's up, little baby? Look at this little guy. I'm not gonna swap from the crankbait quite yet. But it's tiny little largemouth on the crankbait. That's probably why I didn't even feel the first one. I don't think he was any bigger than this guy. But we're gonna put him back. I think, like I say, I think we're gonna work the crankbait a little longer before we swap out to the next bait. I think next we'll probably rock the spinnerbait. See if we can catch a decent bass on that. That's the one thing I'm worried about with the spinnerbait is what a cute little bass. But the one thing I'm worried about with the spinnerbait is size. It's only a 1/4 ounce, but the bass in here aren't that big. A lot of them are pretty small, actually. All right, so we're gonna go back into the cove where we started last episode, just because I know there's some fish in here. I'm I'm nervous about losing the lures in this challenge. I mean, at the end of the day, we already caught one on the crankbait, so it wouldn't be the end of the world. Oh, that's a fish. Yep, we're on. That feels like a better one too. No! Oh, that was cool. You know, it's a decent one. Maybe like a 1 pounder. I hope he doesn't shake that hook. I don't think he's hooked that well. It's actually feeling drag. Stay down. Yeah, that's a good little large one. He's got really good color too. And he's got both trebles in him. I don't think he was going anywhere. He's actually bleeding quite a bit, so we'll put him back. But that's actually a pretty good little largemouth for this pond. So that's number 2 with the crankbait. So I'm kind of torn on what I want to throw next, because I think the ribbon tail will work better. But I also think once the sun's high and they start moving under docks, the ribbon tail will still work. So part of me is like, oh, I should try to catch one on the spinnerbait before they kind of start settling in for the day. But with the temperature today not being all that high, they might stay active throughout the day. I mean, it's only going to be in the mid-70s. The last time I was here, it was higher than that when I left at 10 in the morning. It was mid to high 80s by the time I left. At some point, I got to change baits. I can't just throw this all day. That defeats the purpose of the challenge. Oh, there's one. There's another kind of small guy. The fish in this pond are full of jet fuel. They jump like not a lot of other ponds. It's another smaller guy, maybe like a half quarter pounder. Definitely bigger than the first, but definitely smaller than the last one. Whoa. A little fight left in him. Okay. Come here, boy. He's right behind me. So you guys kind of get the geography. Oh, you're wrapped up in the anchor line. That's actually pretty bad. Alright. I'm not done messing around with you. There we go. That's number 3 on the crankbait. I think I'm probably going to, like I say, finish this cove out in the next minute or two and swap. I'll probably swap to the spinnerbait. I think it makes sense to do the moving baits earlier in the day where the bass are a little more active. Alright, there's the spinnerbait. The little lucky strike. I don't know why I get such an off vibe about throwing the spinnerbait right now. I don't know if it's just because I know the fish in here aren't... I don't know if it's because I just know the fish in here aren't as big. But it's a 1/4 ounce spinnerbait. It's not like it takes a behemoth to catch one on a spinnerbait of that size. Honestly, the spinnerbait caught my eye because of the price tag, because I think it was only like $2.50, which really is pretty cheap for a spinnerbait. Oh, is that a fish? Yeah, I'm hooked up already. What was I complaining about the whole time? Oh, he came off. That's okay. That's what I was worried about with the cheap spinnerbait, though. That one little fish just bent the heck out of it. But I was, it caught my eye because it's got the Colorado and willow leaf blades, which I really like. I like to try to get spinnerbaits with one of each. I really don't like the spinnerbaits with just Colorado leaves, and I get a better vibe when I got one of each. It's kind of pulling double duty, catching their attention with the flash and also with the kind of the thud of the Colorado blade. I'll probably do like a final verdict or something before I end the video, but right now this combo is actually really impressing me. Like I say, I definitely wouldn't have trusted the line, and I don't trust any combo with line already spooled. It's usually really cheap stuff that they can just get away with throwing on there and say, oh, it comes with line. So if you do want to get a combo like that, I would always suggest getting your own line. And this, for 320 or whatever I got the line for. I mean, this line is holding up really good. It's only 8-pound test, but, and I've never been a big fan of mono, but at the end of the day, this really doesn't have a whole lot of spool memory already, and I've only been fishing like an hour maybe. Oh, there's a fish. Oh, hello. He hit that like a truck and started peel and drag. That actually might be a decent bass. Yeah, it is actually. Don't jump. I'm gonna bring you around to this side and no, stop that. Come here, bro. Yeah. What's up, boy? Come join the party. That's a good bass for this pond. That's like a nice little 1.5, 2 pounder. I don't know why I was so freaked out about using the spinnerbait, because if there's bass like that in here, that's no worries at all. So that's the first one with the spinnerbait. That's what, number 4? This pond is just a hidden gem. It's really small and there's no real public access. It's a public pond, so like it's not, like, I don't want anyone thinking I'm fishing some stocked pond and passing it off as public, but it is a public pond, and I think there's like a little boat launch. There's just not a lot of access otherwise. Like, there's no real place to fish from the bank, and I don't really think most people know about this pond. These bass just are really aggressive for a public pond. It's kind of like, I kind of equate it to deer on a game preserve. If the deer are used to humans and they get that they're not in danger, then, and even vice versa, if like deer way up in the north, if they've never seen a human before, they're going to be more inquisitive than scared. Same with these bass. Some of them have never seen a spinnerbait before. Honestly, I think I was more worried about... Oh, I'm on. Or am I? I think I was. But I think, honestly, I was more worried about this rod holding up with the spinnerbait, because at the end of the day, it's a small rod and it's a medium light. So it's not really made for lures like this, but I'm just making sure to cast softly and it's holding up just perfectly. Oh, there's one. Oh. He's gonna take me into the bushes. Come here. He's right out to my left. Woo! What's up, little guy? My God, number 5 or 6? 2 on the spinnerbait anyway. All right, this is our one cheat right here. I've got some Berkeley 2/0 worm hooks, only because the tackle aisle was completely bare of any hooks. So this is what we're working with. The profile is smaller than I thought. It's actually pretty thin, but honestly, I don't think that'll be a big deal. The only thing I think that'll change is maybe castability. But when you're in a kayak, you can just get right up on top of them. The one thing I'll be curious about with texposing the hook in there is, and with this setup, is what kind of hook set can I get? Yeah, castability isn't there like crazy, but it doesn't need to be. I'm glad I threw the moving baits first, because now that I'm really going to be reeling in slack line, it's probably going to be a little bit nicer getting rid of that, whatever you call it, spool memory. Oh, that was a good cast. That's right in between kind of those weed beds where the bass surfaced. Oh, one's got it. There we go. That was a pretty good hook set, actually. That's what I was worried about. Ooh. There we go, dude. That finishes our little... Oh. Ooh. That completes our Walmart budget challenge. Of course, we're not done fishing, but we got, what, 3 or 4 on the crankbait, at least 2 on the spinnerbait, and there's our first on the ribbon tail. I'll actually get a release of this guy. I don't think I've gotten a release yet today. Look how clear that water is. Go ahead. Okay. All right, let's back out and reset. I'm gonna paddle over to the next cove because there's a big weed bed that I can cast onto. But while we do that, I think I'm gonna just kind of give my, not grade, but just kind of how everything worked out with this challenge. Like my grade for each product that we used. So I guess I'll start with the ribbon tail. The ribbon tail, it's small and kind of, I mean, it's cheap for sure. It's cheap, but it's doing the job. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it, it's hard to say with the ribbon tail, but for now, I'll just give it like a 7. I mean, plastic's plastic. It definitely does the job, but it doesn't feel quality. And then we do the spinnerbait. I definitely don't really like the spinnerbait. I'll give that like a 5 out of 10. The spinnerbait's iconic and classic and all that, but this one was just, it's cheap. It caught 2 or 3 little largemouth, and it's on the breaking point. So I'll give that a 5 out of 10. It definitely does the job, but not. Oh, one's got this ribbon tail. Yep. Oh, we took it into the pads. We're good. I pulled him out of there. I just yoinked him out of there. It's actually a decent fish. It's like spinnerbait size. No, it's actually not, but it's still a good one. Give me it. Ow, he just pinched me. I guess we'll continue our grading system while we catch fish. There's another one on the ribbon tail. That's number 2. So yeah, the spinnerbait, 5 out of 10. Not great, but did the job again. I mean, like the ribbon tail. The hooks weren't part of it. For the ribbon tail hooks weren't part of it, so I'm not going to grade them. The crankbait, I'm not a big crankbait fisherman, but I really like the feel of it. I mean, it's a little finesse crankbait, so it's probably meant either for a really light bait casting setup or a spinning setup. But I like the feel of it. For someone who doesn't fish a lot of crankbaits, you can take my word for it. So I'll probably give it like an 8 out of 10. But I will say this Zebco Slingshot combo, for the price and what I'm using it for, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. Like, it is holding up really good. As long as you're willing to put your own line on it. It's actually holding up for these little bass. It's a perfect little like mini pond setup. And that is going to do it for the video today, guys. This was like a lot of fun. One of my favorite videos to film. It's actually like a couple days later, I realized I didn't have an outro. I started editing stuff together. Like, this is, I think, one of my favorite videos that I've ever recorded. Let me know if you guys want to see more of this stuff. Like I say, I had a ton of fun recording this one. I thought a fun follow-up to this video might be like a $5 lure challenge. So like spend $5 on just lures and then use that same combo again. Only because Walmart was picked clean. I don't want to take another combo out of there. But I thought that might be like a fun follow-up to this video. Some new lures with the same combo. Because that combo's not going anywhere. It worked really well, and I'm not integrating it into like my bass setup just because it's a little light for that. But it's a great little panfish rod, and it's a fun challenge rod to keep around. So again, it's not going anywhere. Let me know in the comments if you guys have an idea of a follow-up video to this, or if you want to see more budget videos. Other than that, I'll see you guys in the next video. See ya.